I know, chasing that dough, hitting that road, getting that money, man. All I know, loading that foe, kicking down doors, getting that money, man. We gon' make it money. We gon' take it Grizzly. We gon' make it money. We gon' take it Grizzly.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is the WBA orders George Kambosos versus Gervonta Tank Davis. Yeah, man. They done did it again. The WBA is trying to clean up their act, and they're sticking true to this one champion, one division. So it says the WBA title canned if Gervonta Davis accepts George Kambosos Jr. or not. Let's dive into the article. It says, as they intend to unify all respective divisions to one champion, the WBA will 100% order Gervonta Davis versus George Kambosos Jr. soon. The scenario comes after Davis was informed to choose which division he would compete in. He would compete in, having held the WBA secondary belts at 135 and 140. Davis chose 135, leaving the WBA with less headache regarding the narrowing down of straps held by Kambosos at 135 and Josh Taylor at 140. Gervonta Davis informed the WBA that he will only keep his lightweight belt, said President Gilberto Mendoza. Gervonta had 5 days after his fight last Sunday to choose a division, and he decided to stay at 135. According to the new championship rules, Davis would have to fight Kambosos and Taylor in 2002 and 2022 and 2023 to keep both his straps. Now Tank will get ordered to agree on a deal with Kambosos when the WBA's turn comes around. A brief look at the World Boxing Association lightweight standings tells you Davis won the lightweight crown in December 2019. He is yet to make a mandatory defense in that time. Rolly Romero had secured a pay-per-view place to be a challenger. However, he had to pull out due to personal issues. No pun intended on their end either. So let's dive right in. WBA set to order Gervonta Davis versus George Kambosos. What is your reaction to that? And do you think Tank Davis will accept the fight? I'm going to turn it over to Trill Dollar Bill.
Probably not. Nah, I mean, all right, see, we got so much great topics, man. I'll be wanting to follow.
Hey, do what you got to do, man.
By the opportunity, this is not going to happen because I think Kambosos is going to be fighting somebody else, and he has a possibility that he might end up losing that belt. And, I think Tank, even though Tank has to have a certain type of step out fight, I don't think that fight's happened. We were just talking about Rolly. I figure that they'll try to make that fight happen, and some other guys who got secondary belts. He's going to clean up all the secondary belts, and he's going to leave the main belts alone. Hey, I'm sorry. This is how I feel. I just think he's the secondary champion, the undisputed secondary champion. That's what it's going to be. He's going to be the undisputed interim.
Sure, you sound like Mauricio.
That's that's what
undisputed interim champion.
That's what he's going to.
Who never takes the title shot.
You know what I'm saying? He's gonna have all those secondary belts. You know what I'm saying? And be undisputed at it. And because that's what they don't say that when they say, oh, he's they say the WBA champion.
Nah, they do repeat that. They say he's a champion. Yeah. They act like he's the champion.
They act like he's the champion. They don't say like, oh no, oh he's a 2-3-time and 3. No, they don't. Did y'all really counting that belt? Then if that's the case, then he's going to continue doing this. Because why not? He's going to continue getting the bread he's getting because he's able to fight these guys for these secondary champions.
Hey, if that's the case, Trevor Bryant, the heavyweight champion of the world right now.
You know what I'm saying? Nah, for real. That's just how they look at it. That's how they treating him. So, like if Tank don't have to, he's not going to. If y'all still going to give him praise and call him champion, look, he can fight the interim IBF champion. Then he's unified. He'll be a unified interim champion. If he goes to fight somebody else, he'll be like, oh, he's unified champion now. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't have to, why would you? And he hasn't
a
had
whole collection of confirmed belts.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying nothing bad about Tank, because I really like Tank, and I think he's an explosive fighter. But he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's fighting the guys that they put in front of him, and he has great advantages against the guys that they put in front of him, because all these other guys got other jobs and other things that they're doing. They're worried about all that. All he got to do is focus on boxing, and he's still not fighting the elite guys. You know what I'm saying? He's still not fighting the elite guys, and I don't know, man, but I don't see that fight happening. If the fight does happen, it's going to be later when nobody cares. And it's not going to be for no real belt.
All right, Conspiracy G.
All right, well, playing devil's advocate here. The regular WBA belt is a real belt. Remember, once you become unified, you become super WBA champion. You know what I'm saying? So, and remember, like the WBA champion, they have to fight mandatory. I'm just saying he's fulfilling his requirement. Go ahead.
If it's a real belt, G, then why are they removing it and telling him he needs to fight Kambosos? So if, hypothetically using your logic, the unified WBA champion is elevated to super, and then the regular is a real belt, they said they're scrapping all other belts and only keeping one belt, which would make it super, meaning that every other belt is irrelevant.
Now, I agree. But again, these are their rules that they created. Now they backpedaling. It's just like with the franchise belt with the WBC. The original rules were
they ain't backpedaling though. Your man's a pride champion.
He's a pride champion.
Nah, but what I'm saying is, walk with me on this. They make up rules, and within months they change their own rules because the guy loses or whatever. You know what I mean? So I think right now, so many people complain about the amount of belts in each division that they're like, all right, well, let's clean up our act. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that Tank isn't a champion, right? Now, if they just say, hey, we're not going to acknowledge the regular belt anymore, then hey, that's cool. I respect that. But what I'll say is this: I do think Tank is going to take this fight, because why not? Why not take 3? Maybe you can make an argument for 4 belts just by beating Kambosos, right? It'd be foolish for Tank not to take that fight. And if he doesn't, then I'll be like, yo, this dude is a duck. But I can't see Tank not taking this fight. It's like, why not? You know what I mean? Like Kambosos, it's not like he's like a tall 135 or like a Devin Haney or anything. So the reach is similar. He may be faster than Tank, but you know what I mean? If he lands on Kambosos, he might just knock him out. So I think Tank has a great chance at defeating Kambosos. So I think he is going to take this fight. I don't think Kambosos will pick Tank over Haney. I think he'll go with Haney first, because then with Haney, there's no dispute. He's undisputed at 135. You know what I mean? And then maybe he'll go to Tank afterwards, or maybe he won't. You know what I'm saying? But I could see him going after Haney versus a Tank Davis.
All right, so you have it. G says he believes that Gervonta Davis is going to go after Kambosos, and Trill thinks that Gervonta Davis is going to fight for another interim championship title, and then another interim championship title, and collect interim championship titles.
Yeah.
All right.
Hold on, wait a minute. The WBA regular is not an interim title. I just have to make that clear. It's not. You know what I'm saying? They do have the interim WBA.
But it's their secondary title. It's not their first title, because when they were promoting the fight to us,
if you have a super champion, they supersede the regular WBA champion.
So are you a champion with the regular belt?
Regular is the
secondary belt.
Yeah, essentially, yes.
So secondary undisputed interim belt.
Hey, go ahead. It's a cute way of saying it.
All these belts got to stop. Like we said this time and time after again. There's too many belts in boxing. We just need I don't mind there being 4 belts, but there has to be 1 belt for every division or for what is it? Organization, boxing organization.
Mm-hmm.
But having 4 or 5 belts, because we have, what is it? There's the silver champion, the gold champion, the super champion, the regular champion, the interim champion. Like, how many belts do we got till we have to who's the man? Like, what belt defines the guy in the division? So
I'm telling you, these belts are like Gucci.
mm-hmm,
They're a fashion statement. They don't
mm-hmm.
mean nothing.
That don't mean
You know
nothing.
what I'm saying? It's nice with your outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Nice with your robe when you walk out to the ring. Don't mean nothing.
Color coordinating with your Jordans. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Color
But-
coordinate with my belt.
I don't see how Tank would turn down this fight if WBA ordered him to fight Kambosos. That's an opportunity for Tank to like sit here and bring all the bread to his way, like, you know. And I honestly, I don't think Tank sees like T.O. slept on Kambosos, and I don't think Tank see. I think Tank understands the threat Kambosos is and knows how to take care of that. But him turning down this fight, I don't see why would he, unless like Trill said, he's complacent with being the regular champion and he doesn't need more than that. He want to be undisputed regular guy. But there's no reason why I think should turn down this offer, especially when they disrespecting you right now. Like, we got the Pride champion, we got the regular champion, we got so many different champions.
Let's be clear, WBA ain't disrespecting Tank like the WBC disrespecting Haney, bro. I'm just saying they ain't calling. You know what I mean? They're just saying, bro, pick your division because you're gonna have to fight, and if you don't want to fight, we're gonna get rid of that belt, which makes sense. You know what I mean?
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah, but he gave you a cute, but they don't mean much.
They need to get rid of all these belts, but I don't see no reason why Tank turns down this opportunity to become the face, become almost the face of his division. So
he would be the face if he
almost because you know Devin still got the.
He'll still.
You disrespecting Devin right now, man. Devin's still the Pride champion, man. Disrespecting Devin, man. So, come on.
My bad. Sorry, Devin.
You know, this is an interesting situation because Gilberto Mendoza in WBA found himself in this position after the Mikel Fox fight, where he was robbed, and then they investigated, and then in a deep dive into the WBA showed like they have so many belts, and they're giving these belts to Venezuelan fighters, and it just became one of these deals where, in order to save face, this guy said, Gilberto Mendoza, all right, I'm just going to make it 1 belt per division. And, you know, unfortunately, it took an undressing for him to reach this point. But I hope that every other division, every other organization, every other sanctioning body follows suit. WBA, get rid of all them belts. WBA's getting rid of all the belts. WBC, get rid of all them belts. IBF, get rid of all them belts. You know what I'm saying? WBO, get rid of all them belts. It's 1 belt. 1 belt per division. Let's stop with this whole fashion show and everybody parading around with a belt just because, you know, stop it. It doesn't matter. We don't want to see it.
Everybody doesn't deserve a ribbon. Y'all giving out 8th place ribbons. You know what I'm saying?
Participation belts. You know what I'm saying?
I need to provide some pushback only because the super belt was created so a person could unify with other governing bodies. Without it, that person has to honor the mandatories of the WBA. That's going to be difficult now. You know what I'm saying? I'm just throwing it out.
Let me push back at you. How about you change your rules on that? This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Boxing is for starters, boxing is the only sport with 4 champions in 1 division. UFC got 1 belt, 4 division. Boxing is the only sport. Even the WWE doesn't have as many belts that the boxing has. The freaking doesn't have as many belts as boxing. That should be telling you something. Boxing is the only sport where there can legitimately be 4 dudes in a division calling themselves the guy. And we all have to sit here and argue about the one we like the best. until they finally fight each other. I get it. It must be some marketing strategy. It must be some ploy. But at what point do you promote unification? It should be fight your mandatory or unify. That's what it should be. If you choose to unify, it should trump your mandatory. That's the way it should be. We should promote unification. To me, there would be no greater thing in the sport, any combat sport, than a man who beat 4 other so-called champions holding the belt. Let's say hypothetically, we get Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua Usyk, whomever wins, and they become one champion with 4 belts. The first thing they're going to have to do is get rid of all the belts. And for me, what? Sanctioning bodies. Let's agree to make a tournament with the guys we think are the best. Because, you know, WBO going to say, all right, well, we think that Joe Joyce is the best. Okay. WBA is going to say, well, we got Trevor Bryant here, and we think he's the best. Okay. WBC going to say, well, we got Dillian White here, and we think he's the best. Let them fight each other for the opportunity to fight the undisputed champion. Why do we have a system opposed to being an undisputed champion? I don't get it. It's the dumbest thing ever. We hurt our own sport. Boxing is the only sport that shoots itself in the foot. When people say boxing's dying, no, boxing ain't dying, but we're doing a damn good job of trying to kill it. It keeps surviving us, doing everything we can to kill it. Let's revamp it. One champ per division. Let's make these tournaments so that these fighters have to earn their shot. So when they finally do get to an undisputed champion, we know it's the best. We know you earned your right.
You know you're the number 1 contender.
However, my only question is, how do these governing bodies generate the money from the fees then? Because I don't see them agreeing. Because if their man loses, then they lose out on another opportunity to generate money.
No, not true.
Please explain.
Because no, you got other fighters that will fight other people. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying that we need to create this tournament, right? To create like opponent, the next opponent for the undisputed, for the person that's undisputed, right? Mm-hmm. If you have 4 gentlemen that want that spot, if all, like let's say all 4 governing bodies agree to this, that means let's say the WBA mandatory person wins, right? Takes out all the other 3 guys. Mm-hmm. How do these other governing bodies generate money?
You got to pay sanctioning fees to be in a tournament. That's the thing. So let's say you got 4 belts. You got 4 sanctioning bodies. They each put 2 fighters in the tournament. They put their top 2 fighters in the tournament. They fight it out. You got to pay sanctioning fees. So instead of having a fake trophy belt, you won't have that. But you pay your sanctioning fees to be
the number 1 contender. To be the number 1 contender.
Sanctioning fees to all 4 governing bodies?
No, you're paying to. They're not paying all to. Like Joe Joyce pays sanctioning fees to the WBO. That's it.
Yeah.
Trevor Bryant pays sanctioning fees to the WBA. That's it. It'll be the same way. You go after whatever route you go. You pay them their sanctioning fees. Except when there's a tournament, right? The WBA is going to take 2 people ranked on their top 10, the number 1 and 2, put them in a tournament. WBO is going to do the same thing. IBF is going to do the same thing. WBC is going to do the same thing. And then they fight each other. Winner gets a shot at the undisputed champion. I think they still make their money. It's still intriguing. It still creates great fights. It takes away the fact of, oh, this person's across the street. That person's across the street. That person with this promotional company. That person's with that promotional company. And the other thing is, it will only happen when someone becomes undisputed. Incentivize undisputed. Make it profitable. Give the undisputed champion an advantage. The undisputed champion has to look at Joshua. Joshua could still be undefeated if he would have chose the Deontay Wilder route. If Anthony Joshua would have just won 1 belt from Charles Martin and fought a bunch of tuna cans and just stayed, we would still be talking about the undisputed Joshua. He could have milked the game. No, he got 2 L's because he tried to unify. Then in between trying to unify, they make him fight tough mandatories rather than dropping the belts because people act like, oh, Joshua had to fight Usyk. No, he didn't. Joshua could have said, take your damn belt and go. He didn't have to fight Usyk. He could have dropped the belt. He still would have had 2 other belts. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, just make it easier for people to unify. Incentivize unifying. You still get your fees. I know it's about money, Make a tournament. We would all love to see it. That would be all everyone talks about. That would make stars. Because I guarantee you a dark horse would win most of the time. People will be sitting there stuck on the guy they like, and a dark horse will come right in and win.
I got a question though. When a person's a champion, do their fees increase? And if so, then I don't know if these governing bodies will agree with that.
Change it. Increase the fees. My point is, if you're going to revamp the system, work together. See, that's the problem. Like, it reminds me of the AZ line. He said, we can war till we know more. Either or we can ball till we all score. It's on y'all. You feel me? Like, everyone's mindset is so focused on trying to, if y'all work together, we all could actually eat. And that's the problem. You know what I mean? That's the problem with the sport of boxing. Everyone's sitting there trying to,
Let us know. You got done?
We done.
Well, I didn't say what I think. I think
keep going.
I think just briefly, I'm done. I'm just gonna say
no. I like the whole idea. We got to put that down on paper and give it to these guys because
we had a segment before where we actually talked
just like this. Yeah.
I'm just saying. I never said whether or not I think Davis is going to take the fight with Kambosos.
Okay.
I don't think that he will take the fight with Kambosos, but I think that he should because it's like fate opened the doors for him. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have to face Vasily Lomachenko, and he doesn't have to face Teofimo Lopez, and he can get a shot at collecting all the belts. And I think like he's been fighting these secondary champions. In a way, Kambosos is kind of an unexpected champion. So I feel like if not now, then when?
Okay.
You won't take the fight.
Huh?
You made an argument for him to take the fight.
I said I said I don't think he will, but he should. And I just made my argument why I think he should. But I don't think he will.
Wow.
Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe and check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. This is our 100th podcast episode, and you are rocking with the Boxing Bros.
You're welcome. You're all welcome.